Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome to all your latest Chelsea transfer news. Big up to everyone that's already locked in. Make sure you're smashing up the like. Subscribe if you're new around here. All of that good stuff. And boy, have we got a packed show. It's never dull with Chelsea on the transfer window. Never, ever dull. Xavi Simons, gone. Done. Dusted, finito. He's signed for Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea never made an offer for Simons, and he has gone to Spurs. We'll have the latest fallout from all of that. Got the latest that Chelsea have added Adam Wharton to their list of targets. Deal understood to be difficult to do before Monday, but he's been added to their long-term targets list. That's the big breaking news. Fermin Lopez, he wants to stay at Barcelona. Chelsea is still exploring on the player side as to whether a deal might be possible. We've got the latest on Nico Jackson. Still hasn't joined Bayern Munich. Plus, we have also got the latest on maybe there being a surprise player that Chelsea might target. Fabrizio Romano saying that, you know, it's not the end of the world if Chelsea don't get Fermin Lopez or if Chelsea don't get Xavi Simons. There could be a surprise name on the list. Is it Morgan Rogers? Is it, I don't know. It could be anyone. Pull any name out your ass. You know, who knows who it's going to be. But right now, it's a madness, chat. It's an absolute madness, and I'm fuming. I'll be honest, chat. I'm fuming. I'll get over it, but I'm pissed. I'm straight up pissed about this whole situation, and I'll explain why. But first things first, guys. As always, just a quick reminder, make sure you check out Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. The home kit, the away kit, the third kit, names, numbers, patches, whatever you want on the back, you can get. Great quality, affordable prices. I wouldn't say it was good quality if it wasn't. People in the chat have bought some, so they can attest for that as well. Link is in the description. Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. That is enough about that. Let's say hello to some of you lot in the chat, and then we will get this show on the road. Because it's going to be a packed show, and I'm sure there's going to be loads of developments as we're live. Let's get to the top of the chat real quick. We told Xavi to wait all summer. We did. Sad day for Chelsea. I wouldn't say it was a sad day, but it's, you know, totally avoidable situation. Well, bro, steady on. Adam Wharton's top draw. Yes, big up, brother. What else have we got? To be fair, like I think what people need to realise is that he never said it was done. He never said it was done. But ultimately, for reasons best known to ourselves, Chelsea never made a bid in the end. Never made an offer for him. Bro, we'll get into this in a sec. This is the biggest thing for me. Forget about missing out on Simons. Forget about missing out on whoever we might miss out on in the past or in the future. Optically, completely embarrassing for us, this whole situation. Optically terrible for Chelsea, in my view. Yes, big up, brother. Big up, big up. Bro, he never said we bid for Simons. Like, I do wonder whether people struggle to read or just have a basic lack of comprehension understanding. We never bid for Xavi Simons. He never said we bidded for Xavi Simons. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. Guys, there's so much coming in. I'm going to have to scroll to the bottom. Apologies, but there's so much coming in. Bro, it's embarrassing because we briefed all summer, we want this player, we want this player, we want this player. We told him to wait all summer for us. He turned down advances from other clubs. And we're briefing that we want him. And then suddenly, at the last minute, we decide, we don't want him. And we allow Tottenham to have a free run at him. I don't get how people don't see how, from an optic standpoint, this is terrible. Treatment of a player, terrible. It's not the first time we've done this, and it's not the last time we'll do this. Moral of the story here for players. If Chelsea tell you to wait for them and they haven't returned within a week to come and get you, forget us. Forget us and move on. because the chances are we're not going to come in. And people were looking at this from the outside looking in, right? And everyone was saying, oh, it's Leipzig and Simons that are holding the deal up. Well, hang on a second. It's Chelsea that were holding the deal up. Oh, once Nkunku's gone, then we'll move and finalise Simons. Then we'll move and finalise a deal for Xavi Simons. No, we won't. Everything we've been told is bollocks. It's bollocks. And you wonder why there's a massive lack of trust between the club and fans and whatnot. I'm not. By the way, this is not specifically to do with missing out on Simons. This could have been any player. The point of it is that the whole optics and the whole scenario was totally avoidable. We've wasted 5 or 6 weeks we have wasted on Xavi Simons. We could have instead signed a goalkeeper. We could have instead tried to get a centre-back. Bro, this is not... We're not getting Rodgers. No, but bro, this is not the point. This is not the point. Guys, can we please use our brains here? This is not about whether Chelsea need Simons or not. It's not about that. It's not about whether you think Fermin Lopez is better. It's not about whether you think, Garnacho was more of a priority. At the end of the day, okay, we've said to Simons, wait for us. Okay? Wait for us. Also, by the way, just because you disagree with something the club doesn't mean that you don't support the team. Support doesn't mean you just blindly applaud every single thing that the club does, like a happy clapper. No, it doesn't mean that. I love this club and I love this team. But I'm not going to sit back and say that all things are great. And this is all fine. And that means that I'm a supporter. So if I criticise something the club does, I'm not a proper supporter then. So to support the team and the club, you can only praise everything that's done. No, get out of here, man. What's that about? What are we talking about here? You can be critical of Chelsea in this situation. You can be critical of the club for the way that they handle certain situations. It doesn't mean that the summer's crap. It doesn't mean that, oh my God, everything's a disaster. But to suggest that you are not a supporter because you criticise something the club does is nonsense. I'm sorry, bro. It's nonsense. I'm never going to sit here and just be an echo chamber and just literally blindly support every single thing the club does. It's bollocks. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. Oh, we didn't need Simons. Oh, Simons actually isn't that good. No, forget it. Forget it. And then. So look, at the end of the day, chat as well, the fee wasn't even that big. So this is the situation here. By the way, we will get off this, but this is important to go through. So Xavi Simons has gone to Tottenham, all signed between Spurs and Leipzig, fee worth 60 million euros. So that's 60 million euros. It's worth 51 million quid. That's £3 million more than we paid for Jamie Gittins for a full international Champions League experience, top quality player, £51 million. Okay, so don't tell me this was a money issue. Oh, but Charlie, Leipzig changed the goalpost at the last minute. No, they didn't. No, they didn't change the goalpost at the last minute. If anything, the price was even less than we thought it was. The price was even less than we thought it was. Bro, this is not even true either. This is not even true either. So you're telling me that Chelsea didn't want Simons. We never wanted Simons. So we told him to wait all summer for us. We were in multiple conversations with RB Leipzig all the time. All the time, okay? We're telling him to wait and wait and wait. Simons only wants Chelsea. He had discussions with Jarell Hato about coming to the club. And you're telling me that we never wanted Simons. No, that's bollocks, mate. Absolute nonsense here. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Optically, it's embarrassing from us. It's embarrassing. All that PR we've put out there. We want him. And then at the last minute, nah, we're not going to bid. We don't want him anymore. I don't care that Simons hasn't happened. Yes, I'm disappointed. Yes, I would have liked Xavi Simons. The whole point is that we fucked about. We've messed this guy about. We have wasted 5 weeks on this transfer. Why, if you didn't want this guy, are you constantly putting all this stuff out there about him and then you just run away at the last minute? Why? Why? And people need to understand this is not about Simons. This is not about the quality of this of Simons. This is about the situation that we find ourselves in. Okay. You know, okay, that's fine. Bro, that's fine. We obviously decided we didn't want Simons in the end. So why did we waste 5 weeks of the transfer window? 5 weeks. Bro, Enciso's fallen through. That's not happening. But the point is, right, if we didn't want Xavi Simons, okay, why did we waste 5 weeks of the transfer window pursuing this guy with then 4 days left to say, oh, by the way, now we don't want this guy anymore? We wasted 5 weeks. 5 weeks of the transfer window we've wasted, chat. Why? For what? For what? We've sat back for 5 weeks, not 1 week, not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, not 4 weeks, not 5 weeks we sat here and we waited and we wasted week after week after week. Oh, we want him. We want him. We just need to move Nkunku out now. Nkunku's going to be the key for Xavi Simons coming in. And then Nkunku goes. And we don't even close the Simons deal. We then go and prioritise Garnacho over him. I don't even blame this guy. Why would he wait and why would he sit and wait for us all summer? And then he sees that we finalise Garnacho instead and just put 2 fingers up to him and we don't even make a bid. Bro, we're not getting Fermin Lopez. News flash to everyone. The Fermin Lopez deal, and we'll get onto it, is very, very difficult to do. And it's going to be very expensive. Anyone that thinks we're getting Fermin Lopez for less than 60 million euros, I aspire to have those levels of delusion. I aspire to those levels of delusion. Please, you know, let me know where you get that delusion from. I'd love to have some of that delusion. I'd love to have some of that delusion, chat. I'd absolutely love it. I'd love it. You know, it must be great. It must be so good being that deluded. Must be incredible. Must be incredible. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not turning on the owners. I don't look. It's more about this isn't a indie, bro. Are we really doing this? We're doing indie Carla sources. Fuck me. We're really struggling here, aren't we? We are seriously scraping the barrel. Seriously scraping the barrel. Indie Carla. The guy gets one shout out from Ornstein for getting one thing right, and is now has reverted to their fraudulent selves like always. I don't want to spend too long on this, bro. Absolutely not. You obviously don't know me at all, or haven't really watched much of what I say in the past. I couldn't be further from that. I would never ever be like that. Never. Bro, people can have different opinions. I'm giving my opinion, and that's fine. People can disagree with me. No problem. People can disagree with me, no problem. I haven't got an issue with that. That's fine. You know, that's at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. This community is, I've got my views, you've got your views, and we can challenge each other on those views and be respectful. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. You know, I think this is embarrassing for the club. Some people don't. That's cool. No problems. At the end of the day, we all want Chelsea to do well. We all want Chelsea to be a success, and we all want top players to come to the football club. And that's never going to change. That's never going to change. But well, if that's the case, then I'm sorry things come across like that. But I am allowed to challenge people's views, just like people can challenge my views. Oh, bro. Seriously. So we can't celebrate winning anything because I criticised the club over the way that a transfer saga was handled. So because I didn't blindly applaud everything the club's done, I can't celebrate us winning trophies because I disagreed with the way that something was handled. Right. Okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting. You know, this is not the first time that this has happened, and this won't be the last time it's happened. And let me try and explain, guys. I'm not here to try and get people to agree with me. I couldn't care less if anyone agrees with me or not. But let me just explain where I'm coming from. Is that regardless of what you think of Xavi Simons, regardless of what you think and the way that it's been reported, because let's run through some facts here. I don't want to sound like Rafa Benitez at his Man United press conference, but facts number one: Chelsea told Xavi Simons to wait for over a month. Correct. Personal terms were agreed. Correct. The fee was respectable. Correct. Nkunku sold. Correct. And all those things were true. Now, forget about whether you wanted Xavi Simons or not, whether you rate Xavi Simons or not. This is not a good way to operate, and it's not the first time Chelsea have done this to players lately. Such a public pursuit. Loads of tactical mind games, loads of PR games, lies. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. You know, and we get situations like, you know, Xavi Simons never considered any other clubs, only wants Chelsea. We're waiting for Nkunku's exit. No Bayern for Xavi, only Chelsea. Chelsea have already set up a deal with RB Leipzig for Xavi Simons. That was Matt Law. If you don't laugh, chat, you'll cry. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. And that's... But the whole point is, though, this doesn't have to be so public. This doesn't have to be so public. That's if this wasn't public or wasn't so public, then it's less of an issue. It's less of an issue if this wasn't so public. Yeah, I don't know what's happened here. And then to cap it off, because we are going to move on, by the way, chat, because I don't want to waste time talking about Simons because he's gone. But we'll just get a couple more things. Can we also clear up as well, by the way? Can we also clear up as well? Chelsea have not been hijacked by Tottenham. I feel like people need to understand what the definition of a hijack is. Hijack is like with Willian, or is like a club's had another bid, a medical's agreed, or they've undergone a medical, and then another club swoops in and signs that player. It's not a hijack if you don't make a bid for a player and another club comes in and bids and that player signs. This is not a hijack, guys. This is not a hijack. But anyway, as suspected, the feeling from Xavi Simons is that Chelsea wanted to close the Garnacho deal before everything. So Chelsea wanted to be fast on Garnacho, and for Simons, they never closed the deal. Waiting for Nkunku, waiting for Jackson. Okay, and to be honest, I think that was the final straw for Simons. Was when we closed out the Garnacho deal first. That was the final straw, closing out that Garnacho deal first. But the biggest load of nonsense, and again, another one here. We are going to move on from this. Let me just quickly round out these points, chat. Xavi Simons really pushed for Chelsea, even when Bayern called. It was never sealed with Leipzig. Advanced, concrete, sure, but done, sealed, or here we go, never the case. So he really pushed. He really pushed for Chelsea. Really pushed. He really pushed for Chelsea. So there was that one there. But the one from Matt Law was the biggest. Was the biggest shambles. Because it was this here. And this was just before we got the here we go, by the way. There is no intention at Chelsea's end to try and hijack Spurs and Simons. No formal bid and have other targets. Bridges have been built in the relationship between Chelsea and Spurs over recent years, and there's no desire to demolish them now. Utter woke nonsense. Now we're not gonna go in for Simons now, because we've worked hard to build bridges in our relationship with Spurs, and we don't want to upset that. What is that rubbish? What is that rubbish? Utter garbage. I'm sorry. That is absolutely ridiculous. Woke nonsense. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know, there's nothing that can't be repaired relationship-wise. Nothing that can't be repaired relationship-wise, chat. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the PR to come out on why we didn't do it, on why we didn't do any of this, why we didn't sign him. Why we didn't sign him. You know, I can't wait for the PR chat. I cannot wait. But hey, it's over. It's over, chat. It's done. Xavi Simons is gone. Yeah, but they did. And that's fine. I understand that from their point of view. But it didn't drive the fee up at all. It didn't drive the fee up at all. And we never made a bid in the end. It's not like they tried to use that to drive the fee up or to try and force us to make a bigger bid. Neither of those things happened. So I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And just optically, it's really poor. And for me personally, just a final point on this, chat. A final point on this. And we're going to move on. We will move on. Just a final point on this, guys. To round out. Whether it's Xavi Simons or someone else. Okay. Whatever player it might be. It is insulting to make a player wait for us for the majority of the summer, finalise a guaranteed deal before him in Garnacho. It's a proper slap in the face for Simons or whoever the player might be. Regardless of your thoughts on Simons or anyone else, from an optics point of view, this is highly embarrassing from Chelsea. Highly embarrassing. And that's what it comes down to. But anyway, we're done on this. We're done on Xavi Simons. Forget Xavi Simons. He's a Tottenham player now. I don't want to be talking about Tottenham players. That's it. Done, dusted, finitoed. We move on. As not long after that news was confirmed, we then had a ridiculous one. We then have a ridiculous one, chat. Apparently there's something from Plettenberg. Let me just quickly get this. But, you know, to try and obviously distract from the nightmare and missing out. Tariq George is being added to the list of targets of Bayern Munich. We're going to get there. But so, like clockwork, because Chelsea just seem to cause chaos. Just seem to cause complete and utter chaos. So, we then get this news. Chelsea have added Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton to their list of long-term targets. Tough deal to do before Monday. Nothing yet to suggest anything is advancing, as Palace plan to keep hold of Wharton for at least another year. What are we doing here? What's going on here? So we don't get Simons. And then suddenly we go, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, we want Wharton. Yes, we were linked with Wharton, I remember, when he was at Blackburn. This is not going to happen this window. There's no way a deal of this magnitude happens in 3 days. And there's no way we're going to go and sign, or we're going to sell Santos or Lavia in the next 3 days to make space for Wharton. But let's make it perfectly clear. This means one of two things. Next summer, in my view, this is all long-term planning. I'm all for long-term planning. I get that. Who's leaving for him to come in? Let's be real here. Let's be real here. There's only one person that's leaving to come in. It's Andre Santos. It's Andre Santos, chat. Make no mistake about it. It's Andre Santos. If Chelsea were to move for Adam Wharton, I think it's 95% guaranteed it will be Andre Santos they cash in on. 100%. Lavia, potentially, if he can't stay fit. Lavia, potentially, if he can't stay fit. But let's be real. We all know that it would be Andre Santos. And that's the way that it goes. We know that would be the case, chat. Nah, bro, I'm telling you, it would be Santos. It would be Santos. Because Santos is arguably worth more than Romeo Lavia right now. He's arguably worth more than Romeo Lavia. I get it. If Lavia can't stay fit, then yeah, sure, you might look at a different option. 100% hear you on that one. 100% hear you on that one. Yeah, but bro, Wharton's not just a defensive midfield player. Wharton is not a defensive midfield player. Yeah, it's annoying. It is annoying. It is. There's still 3 days left. Chelsea might go and get Fermin Lopez. Chelsea might have a surprise up their sleeve and go and get someone else. And it might be okay in the end. I don't know. But right now, the way that things are panning out, yeah, it's infuriating. And I think fans have got every right to be annoyed at what's going on. Okay? And people can react to things in different ways. Absolutely guaranteed they can. But yeah, it's like what's the point in briefing this Wharton interest though? That's what I don't get. What's the point in briefing Wharton interest? Because it's not a position we need. It's not a deal that's going to happen in the next few days. So I don't understand the point of this news coming out. What is the point? That's what I'm. No, bro, you're completely missing the point. Of course, you've got a right to be annoyed. We told a player to what we wasted 5 weeks, 6 weeks on a player. Okay, told him we wanted him. Told him to wait for us. Told him to turn down moves from other clubs. Made it public knowledge we wanted him. We just need to get Nkunku out, and then we can finalize this deal. Like if you cannot see how optically this looks really bad, and you don't think that anyone's got a right to be annoyed about it, bro, then I really question why you would be why you think like that. Nah, look, this is not negative on the overall situation. This is negative on this particular situation. Maybe Maresca's choice is Fermin Lopez. Bro, this is the problem. We do this all the time. And players are going to start wising up to it, in my view. Players are going to start wising up to it. But anyway, guys, there's 340 in the building. 340 in the building, only 127 likes. Get this up to 200 likes ASAP, people. Smash up that like button and subscribe if you are new round here. Run it up, run it up. We need to hit the subscribers up, chat. Get those subscribers up. Please hit the subscribe button. We're 60 subs away from 18.2. Let's get there ASAP and run up these likes, people. But yeah, the Wharton thing doesn't make any sense right now. Makes no sense right now whatsoever. No, but bro, you're missing the point. It's not about the player. It's about the whole principle of the situation. It could have been anyone. It could have been anyone. Bro, of course it matters. Of course, optically things matter. You know, that's the reputation we're looking at here of the club. You know, and how we conduct ourselves, and you know, and if Chelsea tell players to wait for them, why should they? Why should they? It does matter. These things do matter. This is it. This is what I don't get right. Why can't people just understand that simple fact? That's what we did. Let me get to the bottom of the chat. Yes, they did, bro. Yes, they did. If you want to believe otherwise, no problem. No problem. But bro, let's respectfully, let's not make shit up and talk nonsense. It's well known that we told him to wait for us. It's well known. Nah, bro, we're not. I'd be stunned if we signed Kobbie Mainoo. I'd be stunned if we went for Mainoo. I really would. I don't see how that makes any sense at all to go for Mainoo. Bro, I can tell you now, we're not going to get Morgan Rogers. No way. But yeah, the Wharton stuff is a strange one. Sure, long term, you know, he's a top player. But again, you'd have to sell a Santos or you'd have to sell a Lavia. Could I see either of those things happening next summer? Yeah, I definitely could. But again, is Wharton really going to play a lot of minutes ahead of Enzo or Caicedo? Probably not. He's going to want to go somewhere where he's going to be a regular player. So, yeah, I'm just confused on that one. I'm just a bit confused on that one. But, you know, it is what it is. Top player, like him, ran the show at Stamford Bridge a couple of weeks ago. But quite why this news with Chelsea links need to come out now, I'm a bit lost about the timing of this. I'm a bit lost about the timing. I do wonder, though. I do wonder if Chelsea are actually going to try. I do wonder if they're going to try. I do wonder if they're going to try. It'll be interesting to see. Bro, what are you talking about? I never said Chelsea put a bid in. I never said we put a bid in. What are we doing here? We never put a bid in. I said that multiple times earlier in the show. We told Simons to wait for us. This is not hard to understand. Nah, I think something. I think we will do something, but I've got no idea what that something's going to be. You know, I've got no idea what that something's going to be. I don't see that something being Adam Wharton, but Wharton's not even the same profile of Simons at all, and we don't need another deep lying midfield player. So I don't get this. I don't get it at all. It's a really strange one. But this to me, rather than a deal for the last 3 days, because that's no chance of that happening in the next 3 days. Well, slim to no chance. Never say never. Slim to no chance, but never say never. But this feels like we've added Wharton to the list of targets in case Enzo Fernandez moves on, or Santos, or Lavia. Wharton right now, top player. He is not what the squad needs right now at all. the only possible way it might make sense is Maresca planning on using Enzo Fernandez as a 10? Is he planning on using Enzo Fernandez as a 10 maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Bro, again, he wanted Chelsea. We never came. So he went to Tottenham. That's the only other thing that I can think of. So, yeah. I mean, watch this space on Adam Wharton. Watch this space. But, yeah, it's definitely something that I don't see it happening. It makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. Malik Fofana's already decided to stay at Lyon this season. If Chelsea wanted Malik Fofana, they would have gone for him. Now that we've signed Garnacho, we're not going for another left-sided player in Malik Fofana. We're not doing that. But that's the latest on Adam Wharton, which was a strange breaking news today. Now we're going to move on to Fermin Lopez. And this was the latest on Fermin Lopez from Fabrizio. We're going to get to Nico Jackson as well, but let's talk Fermin Lopez because that's one that maybe is possible. That's definitely a player that Chelsea like. Definitely a player that Chelsea like, chat. No doubt about it. Lopez, good player. No one's denying that Lopez is a good player. Absolutely top draw. However, this is going to be a difficult deal to do. So this is from Fabrizio. Chelsea like Fermin Lopez and he's on the list. They are aware of the situation. Many players in his position at the moment. At the moment, there is no bid. And Barca doesn't see him going and has the feeling he won't. As of now, the player's not said, let me go. So the clock's ticking. As things stand right now, and obviously the transfer window's fluid and things can develop all the time. But as things stand right now, Fermin Lopez, Barcelona think he's staying, and he's not pushing to leave. He's not pushing to leave. So there we go. There we go. And it's going to be an expensive deal. It's going to be an expensive deal, chat. This idea that people think, oh yeah, now that we've looked away from Simons, and that means now that Fermin Lopez is definitely coming. The Fermin Lopez deal is going to be very hard to do. It's going to be very hard to do, chat. And it's going to be significantly more money, in my opinion, than the 60 million euros that Xavi Simons ended up leaving for. I don't think Fermin Lopez is coming. I'll be straight out. I don't see Fermin Lopez coming. What Chelsea have got up their sleeve, I've got no idea. But with 3 days of the window remaining, if you're still trying to convince a player to join the club with 3 days remaining, that's not looking good. That's not looking good. I was never majorly confident on this deal. I was never majorly confident on it. I personally don't see it happening. If Simons potentially wasn't financially viable, how on earth is Fermin Lopez financially viable? How is that? How is that it? It's a strange one. I'm just not convinced on this Lopez stuff. I believe there's absolutely interest. Of course there is. This is just for me. I don't think there's enough time. I think this is a very, very difficult deal to pull off. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that, but what I would say is Chelsea must have abandoned Simons for a reason. There must be a reason why we've abandoned our pursuit of Xavi Simons. There has to be a reason for that. And is that reason Fermin Lopez? Is that reason someone else? But Ben Jacobs, again, adding this morning, Chelsea have held new talks with Fermin Lopez, as revealed yesterday. Key remains convincing Lopez to leave Barcelona, with work so far primarily focused on the player side. So, again, we're trying to convince the player. We're working on the player. That means at the moment, Lopez is not open to joining Chelsea, or he's not keen on joining Chelsea. So Lopez not keen, chat. Lopez not keen on joining Chelsea as it stands right now. That in itself is not ideal. By the way, Fermin Lopez won't be on ridiculous wages. Fermin Lopez won't be on ridiculous wages. 100 and, I mean, I don't know who wants who. I've got no idea who wants who at the end of the day. But I look at, I don't know, this Lopez stuff. I just look at it and think it's very, very difficult. And I think at this late stage, of the window, this is very difficult. I think this is very difficult to do. Realistically, we need a green light from Fermin Lopez that he's keen on the move. We need a green light on that in today or tomorrow, really. We need it today or tomorrow, a green light on that. Because I don't think we would. I think we would potentially pay a big fee, but we're not going to pay big wages. We're not going to pay big wages. Bro, I don't know why you're so convinced that Fermin Lopez is coming. You know, I don't know why. You know, bro, and Kunku's gone, though. Possibly could be. But unless Chelsea have got something up their sleeve that we don't really know about, it makes no sense at all to abandon Xavi Simons. It makes no sense. So there must be someone. There must be something planned. There must be someone there. There must be someone there, chat. Who that someone is, I don't know. I don't know who that someone is, but there's got to be someone. The thing is, though, right? No one's... Bro, yeah, but he's not going to get much more minutes at Chelsea either. It's not like Chelsea are suddenly considerably more minutes than Barca, because it's not. Chelsea's not considerably more minutes than he'd get at Barcelona. It's not like he's getting no minutes at Barca, by the way. You know, it's not like Simons, Lopez, if he comes, Lopez don't walk into this team, chat. Lopez doesn't walk into this team. Lopez doesn't walk into this team. He'll start some games, sure. But I don't see him playing significantly more minutes for Chelsea than he would for a Barcelona. Bro, just cause, it makes no difference. Just because Maresca called him, it doesn't make any difference, does it? You know? No one's saying that Fermin Lopez is a bad player. He's not a bad player. But if people think that he's guaranteed, he just walks straight into this team, I don't think that's true. That's not true. Simons wasn't going to walk straight into this team either. They were both going to be squad options. We're not getting a goalkeeper. Fermin Lopez, we'll find out more. I think we'll find out more today. I think we'll find out more in the next few hours. But ultimately, there's no point speaking to Barcelona about anything. No point speaking to them about anything or having any club-to-club contact with Barcelona because there's no buy-in from the player. There's no buy-in from the player. So right now, we're looking desperate. We're desperately trying to convince Fermin Lopez to come. But then, outside of this Fermin Lopez stuff, this is from excuse me. This is from Fabrizio again. So there might be some surprise name for Chelsea. As I said last night, I don't think the world is ending with Lopez or Simons. I think there could be some other name. Now, when he says, I think there could be some other name, he knows there's another name, but he's just not saying it. He knows there's another name. Who that other name is, I've got no idea. People saying Morgan Rogers. I don't think so, personally. I don't think so on Morgan Rogers, but ultimately, chat, we don't know. Ultimately, we don't know. And that's the thing here. Ultimately, we do not know. Harvey Elliott, I don't think so. Would it be, look, if you're looking, if you're trying to second guess names, Morgan Rogers, maybe. I don't see a Kobbie Mainoo. I don't see that at all. I cannot see Kobbie Mainoo happening. No chance, in my view. And then you're looking at, what are you looking at? Morgan Rogers. Could you try some sort of madness for Kenan Yildiz, even though that seems ridiculous at this stage? I mean, the last time that Chelsea were linked with a surprise attacker, it was Cole Palmer. So who could it be? Who could it be? No, there's no way. There's no way, chat. I'm sorry. There's absolutely no way this happens. Absolutely no way. Also, by the way, it's not that we didn't want to pay the money. It's not that we didn't want to pay the money. It's clearly that we've switched our attentions to someone else. It's clear. We've switched our attention to someone else. I mean, again, another name that could be an option and wouldn't surprise me at all. Because we've not done a George Mendes deal this summer. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea went for Rodrigo Moura at Porto. 70 million euro release clause. 18-year-old sort of striker / wide player. George Mendes client would sort of tick a lot of recruitment boxes at Chelsea. I'll be real. I think that's someone that can't be discounted. I definitely think that's someone who cannot be discounted at this point. It's just an opinion at the end of the day. It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. But again, Kudus, Chelsea never bid for Kudus. Chelsea never bid for Kudus either. I think the interest was way less than what was reported. Way less than what was reported. Look, I've got no inside info, no intel on this. I think I wouldn't rule out, a potential move for Rodrigo Moura at Porto. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't rule it out. Akliouche, I don't think so. I don't think we'd go for Akliouche. Moura would make more sense. Moura would make more sense. Thing is, though, Liverpool are happy to keep Harvey Elliott. Liverpool would be happy to keep Elliott. I don't think they're actively looking to sell him. They're not actively looking to sell him. But I don't know what's going on here. But again, you just don't know. The problem is, though, chat, it could literally be anyone. It could literally be anyone. Could be Rodrigo Mora. Could be Fermin Lopez. Could be Morgan Rogers. Could be Harvey Elliott. Could be someone we've never heard of before. Again, that's not confirmed or done. That's not confirmed or done at all, Elliott to Leipzig. Not confirmed or done at all. It could be anyone. Could be anyone. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know. It could literally be Harvey Elliott. I don't know. Harvey Elliott, by the way, would be the exact sort of signing that Chelsea would make under this ownership. 100%. It would be the exact sort of signing that Chelsea would make. By the way, guys, we're 30 likes short of 200. Run up the likes. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. Let's keep it stepping on that front. Let's get these final 30 likes boxed off and keep smashing the subscribe button if you're new. There must be a few people in who haven't subscribed. So make sure you're subscribing, guys. Make sure you're subscribing. No, definitely no ways Phil Foden. No chance. Well, if we let Jackson go, we need another one. If we let Jackson go, we need one more, in my opinion. I think we absolutely do. We absolutely do need one more. We need one more. But who that's going to be, no idea. No idea. No idea. No idea. Anyone take him. Anyone take him. Nah, neither. I don't know. Neither of those deals are happening. Neither of those deals are happening. Nah, bro. I think we can safely say 100% it's not going to be Isak. I think we can safely say that. We can safely say it won't be Alexander Isak. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. I mean, let's move away from that and let's talk about Nico Jackson because he's still not gone. He still hasn't gone. And the latest on Nico Jackson, let's start with the latest from Romano in his video last night on Nico Jackson. Where's that? Oh, Jesus Christ. There we go. So, Bayern are still pushing a lot to sign Nicolas Jackson on loan. Pushing like crazy to get it done. Chelsea is still waiting, maybe for other clubs to enter the race, notably from the Premier League. Waiting for the final solution. I mean, we discussed this the other day, chat. We discussed this the other day. I think Chelsea are waiting and holding off because they want a Premier League club to come in. Because I think they know that a Premier League club might bid for him, might bid in terms of a permanent deal. Sorry, I think they know a Premier League club might do that. Um, so that's what they're hoping for. Obviously, now that Newcastle have signed Nick Voltemada, you know, Jackson to Newcastle, forget it, not happening. So the only one in the Premier League is you're looking at Aston Villa. But again, Aston Villa don't really have the finances. Tottenham aren't going to sign Nico Jackson. So you look at it and you sort of think, well, what are Chelsea waiting for? Clearly, there's an issue with the loan, with the option obligation situation with Bayern Munich. But right now, as things stand, I can't see a Premier League club coming in with a permanent bid for him. I don't see that. I don't see a Premier League club coming in with a permanent bid for him. So at this stage, what do we do? What do we do at this stage? So Bayern is still pushing to get it done. We know that Bayern only do a loan. They want option, not obligation. That's the hold up here. Could we see a mad 360 where we forget about signing anyone else and Nico Jackson ends up staying? Could we see that? I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I still don't think that will happen. But would it be ridiculous to put that out there, to think that actually, do you know what? Maybe Nico Jackson might end up staying. Maybe he might end up staying. You know, maybe that's why. I mean, we can never be certain here, chat. We can never be certain, but I for one would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised on that at all. I would have, bro. I'm exactly the same. I don't mind if Nico Jackson ends up staying in the end. I don't mind. I'd rather Nico Jackson stays than go and do some sort of panic buy on someone that might not be right. I'd rather that. I'd rather that. That would be my preference, chap. Just keep Nico Jackson to stay rather than do an expensive gamble. But let's get the latest on Nico Jackson from the German side of things. Let's get it from the German side of things on Nico Jackson. And they're also looking at Tyreek George by now as well, by the way. Also looking at Tyreek George. So let's do this here first. Yeah, bro, to be honest, Caps, I agree with you. I'm starting to head towards this way of thinking. I'm starting to head to this way of thinking. I really am. So exclusive. FC Bayern are exploring the market for additional options on the left side. One of the new candidates, thanks to his youth and potential, is Tyreek George. There is an addition to Nicolas Jackson. This is an addition to Nicolas Jackson. It's uncertain whether Bayern would be willing to buy George outright. A loan, however, would no longer be possible if Jackson also arrives on loan. More clubs are keen on George: Leipzig, Roma, and 2 clubs from the UK. Ben Jacobs is the source on that. Ben Jacobs is the source on that one. Yeah, he is the source on that one. So yeah, I don't think there can be any disputing on that. No, it wasn't. It was never about keeping Jackson or Jackson needing to go or whatever we're talking about. But Bayern Munich have made it clear, chat. They're only doing loans. They're only doing loans. And I don't understand why that is. Why do these clubs continually playing the broke act with us? What's that about? What's that about? I don't get it. Yeah, bro, I agree on that. And to be honest, this is not one that's going to happen this window. This is more looking at this would be more looking at long term. This is more looking at long term. Definitely not one that's going to happen now. Definitely not one that's going to happen now, chat. That is abundantly clear. That is abundantly clear. Not one that's going to happen now. But yeah, still makes less sense. So we'll wait and see, guys. We'll wait and see. No, but it's not about buying now. It's about an obligation to buy. You know, we know that Bayern aren't going to sign him permanently. We know that. I mean, Tyreek George to Bayern Munich on loan. Does that even make sense? I don't think it does. How is that any good for George's development to go there? How is that any good? How is that any good? That's not any good for his development whatsoever. That's not any good for his development at all, chat. So I'm confused about that. I'm confused about that. I hope that Lions of West London TV is not bullshitting there. Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, he definitely is. Good one, brother. Good one. Not true. Oh, bro, Adam Wharton's going to be 80 million. Easy. Easy. George should go to Roma. George should 100% go to Roma over Bayern Munich. You know, bro, Spurs didn't beat us to a player. We pulled out in the end. We didn't even make a bid. We decided elsewhere. You know, we didn't miss out on a player to Tottenham. This is what we've got to be clear about here. We, for whatever reason, decided not to make a move. We didn't miss out to Tottenham. We need to make that perfectly clear. Yeah, I mean they'll probably be done before then, and it'll be late anyway. I don't think there's going to be anything major anyway. Yeah, but Bayern are taking a piss. Bayern are taking a piss, right? It's very clear that Chelsea are waiting because we could have finalised Jackson to Munich by now. We could have finalised Jackson to Munich. So what I'm suggesting here is, chat, is that Chelsea are holding off on this because one, there's not a full agreement yet, but also I think Chelsea are waiting and hoping that a Premier League club might come in with a permanent offer. That's what I think. That's what we're waiting for here. You know, that's what we're waiting for here. Chelsea are playing a dangerous game because Newcastle are now out the mix for Jackson, in my opinion. Newcastle are now out the mix for Nicolas Jackson. So what do we now do on that front? By the way, guys, 6 likes away from 200. Run up the likes. Run up those likes, guys. There's 281 in the building still. Keep smashing the like button, people. It really, really helps me out. No. It's not going to be Gibbs White. No chance. Definitely not going to be Gibbs White, chat. I don't think so. I'd be stunned. Yeah, Nick Voltemade is the Isak replacement, and then they'll look at a Johan Visser. I think they'll then go and get a Johan Visser. They're not going to sign Voltemade and Jackson. No way. Yeah, and that'll go on Johan Visser probably. That'll probably go on Johan Visser, chat. And 15 million euros, which is 10 million loan fee, 10 million pound loan fee. Yeah, Jackson's not going Newcastle. Jackson is not going to Newcastle, chat. And as I've said, the only place I can see the only way they would have got him the only Premier League club that Jackson can go to now, in my view, is Aston Villa. Now, are Chelsea waiting for maybe Villa to come in? If Villa were going to seriously come in, they would have already come in by now, no? Am I mistaken there? They would have already come in by now. They surely would have come in by now, chat. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Aston Villa are trying to obviously sign Marco Asensio. I mean, it's been the case all summer. Villa have been adamant that Morgan Rogers is not leaving. Why in the final 3 days of the window would that suddenly change? Why? I don't think it would. I don't see how they would. It's madness, really. It's absolute madness, chat. So, yeah, we're going to see. But, yeah, I don't know why they're waiting for Bayern. Yeah, bro, I'm sensing this as well. And, yeah, Bayern can't sign Jackson and George on loan because you can't sign 2 players on loan from the same club. So it would be one of them. I wonder whether Bayern know that they can't really meet the demands that Chelsea are looking for, or they don't want him. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, but bro, someone's got to leave. Someone's got to leave Villa, and a big player, like a Rodgers or an Ollie Watkins. This late stage, I don't see a Rodgers or an Ollie Watkins leaving. I'm not desperate to sell Jackson. I'm not desperate to sell him. But we're not getting anyone else in unless he goes. That's the point here. And I've, more than any, have said that I'd be happy to keep Jackson. And there's obviously a reason why we're holding off a little bit at the moment still. There's clearly a reason why we're holding off. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been on here all summer saying that I want Jackson to stay, that I'd be happy for Jackson to stay. And right now, I still think it would be better for Jackson to stay than to try and add someone else and sort of maybe do a panic buy and overpay for someone, or add someone that might not actually give us what we're looking for. I never wanted Jackson to leave. But then I come round to the idea that he was leaving, because that looked like, you know, I don't mind that, because it looked like it was going to happen, but we're stalling now. Bayern clearly don't want loan with obligation, and Chelsea are waiting for a Premier League team to come to maybe to offer a loan with an obligation or a permanent. I think the best we're going to get is a loan with an obligation right now, and that's looking less and less likely. No, it's looking less and less likely, chap. So I don't know what's going on. But if I'm Tyreek George, I'm not joining Bayern Munich on loan, because I'm barely going to play. I'm barely going to play. And that in itself needs to be a situation. Bro, to be honest, there might not be a mystery attacker. I mean, there could be, there could not be. Stating the obvious, Michael Owen there. But there might not be a mystery attacker, chat. There might not be. So, I mean, let's be honest here, right? At this stage, with 3 days left or whatever, would you rather keep Nicolas Jackson or gamble on a potential mystery attacker? But at the end of the day, though, chat, regardless of this mystery attacker, whoever it may or may not be, Jackson still needs to leave. Jackson still needs to leave. So we can have a mystery attacker lined up. We can push for Fermin Lopez. But ultimately, makes no difference, chat. Makes no difference, because Jackson still needs to leave. So what do we do here? What do we do here, chat? Do we go for the mystery box, or do we keep Nicolas Jackson? Bro, I'm not trying to sell him to Bayern Munich. I'm stating what's going on with Chelsea and Bayern, and Chelsea are obviously holding back on the Bayern thing because Bayern aren't going to offer a loan with an obligation. And I'd rather keep Jack. I think at this late stage for me, it makes more sense to keep Jackson, in my opinion. People have different opinions and people will disagree. Let's see. No, it doesn't mean long-term injury at all. It just means that he's not fit right now. So he obviously won't play against Fulham tomorrow. He obviously won't play against Fulham tomorrow. But yeah, because this Jackson to Bayern thing, by the way, was really close. But it could be virtually agreed. I wonder whether Chelsea are, I don't know, are Chelsea waiting, hoping a Premier League club's going to come in and then they'll just sanction the Jackson deal on deadline day, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, maybe, possibly later. I'm quite busy rest of the day though. So potentially. If we're live again later on, if there's anything major, then I'll go for the Fulham game then. But yeah, this is kind of taking over. But yeah, chat, keep running those likes up. Let's try and get this to 250 if we can. Would really help me out. Let's run it. Strasbourg versus Palace in the Conference League. Love that. Yeah, chat, get these likes up and keep subscribing. Let's keep subscribing, guys. Strasbourg v Crystal Palace. Wonderful. What else is going on then, chat? Mysteries all round. But yeah, I'm a little bit unsure. Who knows? Alfie Gilchrist has been sold for 2 million, by the way, as well. No, I don't think we're looking for a right wing. I don't think we're looking for a right wing. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised that there's been no call up for Chalobah. That's a strange one. That is a real strange one in my view. A real strange one. No, he's not gone yet. But yeah, ultimately, as I said, chat, we can eye up whatever mystery attackers we want, but Jackson needs to go for that to happen. So as things stand, no one else is coming in. No one else is coming right now. The most important thing we should be focused on, guys, is Nico Jackson leaving. Because right now, no one else is coming in until he goes. No one else is coming in until he goes. Yeah, Gilchrist has been sold for 2 million to West Brom. Gilchrist sold for 2 million to West Brom. Mad, really, when you think about it. But yeah, that is correct. Gilchrist sold to West Brom, 2 million. Well, it's close, but it's not been finalised or agreed because Bayern, I think it's obvious, don't want to put in an obligation. They don't want an obligation in the deal. They just want option. They just want option. They just want an option. And Chelsea aren't going to sanction just an option. So we've got something something's got to give here. Something's got to give here. I don't know. I'd expect him to be back after the international break. I'd expect him to be back after the international break. I wouldn't even give it that, bro. I'd give it like 1%. I'd give it 1%. Never say never, but yeah, I'd give it 1%. I personally don't see it happening. Yeah, that's a 1%er for me. That is a 1%er in my view. Possible, sure. Likely, in my view, no. Nah, don't see it. Don't see it. But I don't see that. I don't think Jackson would go there. I don't think Jackson would go there at this point. To be honest, I'd rather just abandon the attacking options now and just sign a centre back. Bro, El Khanous is no. There's been no mention of El Khanous with Chelsea whatsoever. The last I saw, Palace were keen to get El Khanous. So yeah, there we go. That's what I'm saying about that. It's going to be interesting. What Canning Lee? I don't see us going for him. I don't think so, bro. I don't think Everton. They've signed Grealish. They've signed Tiano Barry. They've signed Tyler Dibbling. I don't see them going for Nico Jackson. Again, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I'd be all over it. I'd be all over it. But that's not happening. That is not happening. I would be all over that, but it's not happening, chap. So we wait. You know, we didn't. You know, so there we are. No, bro, why is Milan going to come for Jackson when they've just signed in Kunku? Milan aren't coming. Milan aren't coming for Jackson. You know, they've got Santiago Jimenez, they've got Christopher Nkunku. They don't need another forward. I still don't see that happening. We were interested in Mainu back in January. There is loose interest there. We've got Asugu and we've got Andre Santos now. Signing Mainu on loan makes no sense. And why would Mainu join Chelsea when he wants more regular minutes? He's not going to get them minutes. Maybe. Yeah, no one's disputing that Mainu's not a good player. Where on earth is he playing for Chelsea? Again, Bowley's not involved in this, hasn't been involved in transfers since that very first transfer window. We didn't lose a player to Tottenham. We never made a bid. Bro, Mainu's not a number 10. Mainu has never been a number 10. How are people saying that Mainu's a 10? That's mental. Bro, he's not a 10 though. They can, some United fans can say that if they want. He's not a 10. But yeah. I mean, what a day. What a day, chat. What a fucking day. It's been crazy. Oh God! Part of me, I just dread to think what's going to happen in this window, the remainder of this window, because we've got the capability of doing the sublime or or absolute carnage, basically. Yeah, Maresca presser is starting soon. It'll probably be late for it, though. And I doubt there's going to be anything interesting in the presser whatsoever. There'll be a little update on Cole Palmer. There'll be some talk about Fulham. Are you going to do anything in the transfer window? And he'll say, we'll try. Maybe we'll find some solutions if it's right. The standard spiel. There's going to be nothing groundbreaking, no major news. And yeah, that's that. That's basically the press conference summed up. There we go. There we are, chap. That is the Maresca press conference. Oh yeah, he might be asked about the Champions League as well. Yeah, maybe he'll be asked about the Champions League. That's a fair point. Bro, we're only signing if Jackson goes. We're only signing if Jackson goes. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. Window closes Monday, 7 p.m. Monday, 7 p.m. is the end of the window, chat. End of the window, Monday at 7. So yeah, there we are. Nah, bro, we're not going to get Nico Paz. No chance. Madrid have got a buyback on him. He'll do a season at this season at Como, and then he'll go to Madrid. Yeah, bro, mad. Yeah, crazy. But this is the way that it goes. This is the way that it goes, guys. Yeah, great. Oh, to be honest, I wish I just closed the window today. Just close the window. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yep, sacked by Fenerbahce. Palmer out tomorrow. Yep. Is Tariq George better than Gittins? No, he's not. He's just not. So that's not a surprise at all. Yeah. Interesting, guys. Very interesting. Is it actually a serious Pice update though? It probably isn't. It'll be on the press conference. Yeah, Palmer's not playing tomorrow. We know that. Yeah. All good, all good. Yeah, a bit disappointed, but there's time to salvage things. There's still time to salvage stuff, chat. I don't know. I think it's a groin problem. I'd expect him to be back after the international break, personally. That's my personal view. Palmer back after the international break. Bro, they're just aggregating pages. They're not sources. They're aggregators. So they just tweet out the news. So and aggregators aren't sources of news. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens, guys. We'll wait and see what happens. But there's got to be a few things up the sleeve. There's got to be a few things up the sleeve. Yeah, Fermin Lopez. Who knows? But we knew this anyway. We knew this anyway. We knew it was always going to be Garnacho. We knew that. We knew that all along. Bro, I'm not trusting them to get someone we actually need. Will Fermin Lopez happen? Maybe. But that requires Nico Jackson to go. So right now, let's forget about anything. No, it's not Gibbs White. No, it's not going to be Gibbs White. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be Gibbs White. No. But we'll see. Let's have a look if anything else has been said in the presser, and then I better round this out and crack on with the day. Yeah, Adama Traore, maybe, chat. Maybe Adama Traore. That could be the one. That could be the one. But anyway, chat, I better round this one out. Crack on with the rest of the day. Big up to everyone that's tuned in. Love for all the support, as always. We've got a big final few days left. Obviously, I'll be back later on if there's any major news. If not, chat, I will catch you lot tomorrow after the game. It's a 12:30 kickoff. So we'll see you tomorrow afternoon/evening if there's no major news today. Big love for the support. Big up to the chat. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Please smash that like button on the way out. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. I'd be eternally grateful. It really helps me out. Let's see what the next hours and days have got in store for us. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.